2019 is just not shaping up for this jackass by the name of Michael Avenatti, and I am absolutely loving it. I mean, I'm gonna start calling Michael Avenatti the once a month man. The reason why, because it seems like I do a video once a month and have been for at least the last 2 or 3 months involving him, at least once per that month. And every time I do a story about him, it involves some kind of fraud or him being charged or someone about to sue him. I mean, with the bank fraud, the wire fraud, the tap fraud, all the other type of frauds he's been involved with, with that basketball player, with Nike, the embezzling and everything, you would think that this man would slow down. But now it seems like everything just continues to rev up. Because as you can see in this picture right here, he is with one of the clients that pretty much started his career, or at least brought him into our lives, unfortunately. And that's none other than Stormy Daniels. So you're probably wondering what's going on now. As you all know, he hasn't been representing Stormy Daniels for the longest. She ended up dropping him. And now it is coming out that he has been charged with defrauding her. Let me get into this story. Michael Avenatti, and before I go further, the reason why I have not cued the violins for this particular video is because these are just mere charges. Now, should he get convicted of the charge, then we'll bring it out. Baby steps here. There's an end game to all of this. Michael Avenatti, the attorney who rocketed to fame through his representation of porn star Stormy Daniels in her battles with President Donald Trump, was charged Wednesday with ripping her off. Federal prosecutors in New York City say Avenatti used a doctored document to divert about $300,000 that Daniels was supposed to get from a book deal, then used the money for personal and business expenses. Only half of that money was paid back. Daniels isn't named in the court filing, but the details of the case, including the day her book was released, make it clear that she is the client involved. Avenatti denied the allegations on Twitter. No monies relating to Ms. Daniels were ever misappropriated or mishandled. She received millions of dollars worth of legal services, and we spent huge sums in expenses. She directly paid only $100 for all that she received. I look forward to a jury hearing the evidence. The charges pile on top of previous allegations of legal misconduct by Avenatti, who represented Daniels when she sued to be released from a non-disclosure agreement involving an alleged tryst with Trump. Avenatti was previously charged in New York with trying to extort up to $25 million from Nike by threatening to expose claims that the shoemaker paid off high school basketball players to steer them into Nike-sponsored colleges. And in Los Angeles, he's facing a multi-count federal indictment alleging that he stole millions of dollars from clients, didn't pay taxes, committed bank fraud, and lied during bankruptcy proceedings. Avenatti has denied the allegations against him on both coasts, saying he expects to be exonerated. Notice it said both coasts. That man is literally getting charges on the East and the West Coast. Like, this guy is doing some bi-coastal bullshit. The Los Angeles charges alone carry a potential penalty of more than 300 years in prison. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, initially hired Avenatti to handle a lawsuit she filed last year in which she sought to invalidate the non-disclosure agreement she signed with Trump's then lawyer Michael Cohen in exchange for $130,000. The money was supposed to buy her silence about an alleged affair with the president, who denies that it took place. In August, Cohen pleaded guilty to violating campaign finance laws in connection with the payment. Daniels first publicly raised concerns about Avenatti's conduct in November. In a statement, she said Avenatti launched a fundraising effort to raise money for her legal case without telling her. She also said he had filed a defamation lawsuit against Trump on her behalf, against her wishes. For months, I've asked Michael Avenatti to give me accounting information about the fund my supporters so generously donated to for my safety and legal defense. He has repeatedly ignored those requests. Days ago, I demanded again, repeatedly, that he tell me how the money was being spent and how much was left. Instead of answering me without my permission or even my knowledge, Michael launched another crowdfunding campaign to raise money on my behalf, and I learned about it on Twitter. At the time, Avenatti responded that he was still Daniels' biggest champion. He said that under his retention agreement, she had agreed to pay him just $100 for his services, and he was entitled to keep all the money he raised for her legal defense to defray what he said were substantial costs of her case. The defamation case initiated by Avenatti against Trump backfired, with a judge ordering her to pay the president's legal bills. When Avenatti was first charged with defrauding other clients and extorting Nike in March, Daniels says she was saddened but not shocked. She added on Twitter that she had fired Avenatti a month earlier after discovering that he had dealt with me extremely dishonestly. She did not elaborate. Like I said, Michael Avenatti has dug a hole for himself he can't climb himself out of. And I noticed that in this article, they've done something that other articles before have not done, or should I say have done, and that's not mention anything about him having connection to the R. Kelly situation. He threw himself into that and they still refuse to acknowledge him doing that. But you know what? That's fine. Hopefully, R. Kelly's attorneys and his lawyers can use that to their advantage. Imagine R. Kelly walking away from this because of what he did, in a way, kind of, sort of what Kim Fox did as well. But this isn't about Kim Fox right now. That's a whole nother story for another day. Yeah, but Michael Avenatti, he's getting everything he deserves right now and more. And on top of that, they even mentioned how Michael Avenatti had charges of doing some of the same things he's doing now, even back then, before we even knew who the hell he was. I think they were saying back in 2014, he was caught up in like some schemes and frauds and all types of stuff. Like, the guy just cannot be trusted and should not be trusted. It seems like he's just doing this for attention, but everything is coming down on him. And I'm loving it, like McDonald's. It's what he deserves, in my honest opinion. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this story down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.